You have been to Brazil before to shoot a movie. So my question to you is, how was the experience? I mean, from that time that you came before and this time?
Well, the first time I came, I was 30 years old. So it was a while ago. And I went right to Belém. So I was in the Amazon, which is a whole nother world, as you know. I just loved it so much. Chico was in the movie with me. Chico Diaz was in the movie. And when I wrapped the movie, I said to Chico, I want to go to Rio. I've never, I want to go south. And he said, well, I'll meet you there and I'll show you around. So that was my first time going to Rio. And what was so great coming back this time was I had not seen Chico in 35 years. I found out he was on the movie, and then we had all had a big dinner at Bruno Barretta's apartment, and there was Chico. And it was like nothing had changed, except we both looked a little bit older, but nothing had changed. It was so great. I have been back many times to Brazil because I just fell in love with the country. I did another movie in Ouro Preto with Paul Mazursky, so I got to see that part of the country. But I'd never spent a lot of time in Sao Paulo. I'd mostly been in Rio. So when we shot this, The American Guest, I was in Sao Paulo, and that was really cool. That was because it's more of a city, so that was interesting.
So what do you say?
Why not a bit of exploring? A notable adventure in Brazil. There are always dangers.
No. Edie, you are not going to the Amazon.
Tell me about Edith. Seeing the miniseries, I can see that she was a woman ahead of her time.
I think she's fascinating. I read this book. I highly recommend it, called Edith Kermit Roosevelt by Sylvia Morris. She was in the same class as T.R. Theodore, but she didn't have as much money as his family. And they were great friends as children. They were best friends. They would read books to each other. He would write her letters when he traveled with his family. And everybody just thought, oh, it's T.R. and Edith. And then they had some falling out. They had a fight when he went off to Harvard, and he ended up marrying someone else. He married Alice. And then she tragically died, and Edith and TR ended up getting married, which was wonderful because otherwise she would have been a spinster because she didn't have any family money. She was well educated. She loved to read. She loved art, liked to be quiet. She liked being a mother. She was definitely the woman behind the man, but she was very powerful. She did things in a very quiet way that nobody would realize that she was doing it, but she still got what she wanted. She came to the White House with TR. It was a mess. The White House it was a terrible fallen down place. And they had 6 children and there wasn't enough room for them. So she's the one that is now the one who built, which is now the West Wing, which is where all the politics happen, where the work happens. And then the East Wing became the family residence because they needed all those rooms for the children. But she's the first one that brought Pablo Casals to play his music there, turn of the century, 1900. And then 60 years later, Jackie Kennedy brought him back. But she did it in such a quiet way that people don't really know her. She never bragged about herself at all. And the other thing that people don't know is that she and TR had a great love story, that they loved each other until the day he died. And one of the things that Matthew said to me, the writer, he said, the reason why I want you for this part is, he says, you have this combination of being very proper, but also sensual. And he said, and that it was that she had both. And he said, Edith and TR actually had a very strong sexual connection. But it was, you don't talk about those things. It just was.
Bom dia, Senor Roosevelt.
Wonderful to see you again.
Could be one of the last undiscovered rivers in the world.
And the thing is that your chemistry with Aidan Quinn is fantastic. Have you know him? Have you already worked with him before?
No, I knew his wife years ago, Lizzie. We'd had mutual friends, but I think I only met Aidan once. But I always had a crush on him as an actor. I always thought he was a wonderful actor. So when I heard he was playing, Roosevelt, I was like, oh my God, yes. And he looks so much like Roosevelt. It's unbelievable. But yes, it was very easy for me to be in love with Aidan Quinn. That's very easy.
The only way to survive here is to be a respectful visitor To our American guests,
How this project came to you? It was through Bruno Barreto?
Matthew called me and told me about it. And then I had dinner with Bruno in New York, and he told me about it, what he was looking for. And I said, I would love to do it. I hope, I didn't know if he wanted me or not. You never know whether the upper people will approve you. There's always somebody to say no. So that it worked out.
I remember the first time I saw you in a picture in a series that was in Moonlighting. And then you have made like tons of things. How do you see Hollywood today for parts for a woman over 50? Is it better? Is it worse than it was like some years ago?
I feel like I'm very lucky that I've gotten to work, for a long time, because mostly until now it was men writing the stories. So after a certain age, you're the mother. That's all you are. You're just the mother. There's nothing else. You're just the mother. I'm hoping that that's going to change more and more now that more women are writing the story and directing the story, that there's going to be more nuance. You have hacks here. Jean Smart is wonderful in that. And, and now we have the world changing where, and rightly so, we have to have more people of color, and we have to have more different sexualities. And so I find what I've seen lately is there will still be the single male white lead, but you can get rid of the white woman. It's kind of interesting. If there's the role for a woman, well, let's make her a woman of color, but we'll keep the white man.
Okay, thank you so much for this conversation. I really enjoyed it, and thank you so much.